What is projected to become one of the best parks in the country in the near future, Cedar Fair's Carowinds is a rising star in the coaster world. Ever since the addition of Intimidator in 2010, Cedar Fair has been relentlessly investing in the park with Fury 325 and most recently Copperhead Strike. However, all of this investment seems to have erased a piece of the park, a piece that separates a Six Flags and a Cedar Fair park. In today's video, I'll take a deep dive into my experience at Carowinds, as well as why I think this park so closely resembles a Six Flags park. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Let's dive in. Before I get into the video, I want to quickly thank all of my subscribers because last week, Magic Coasters hit 2,000 subscribers. This is absolutely incredible, and I couldn't have done it without every single one of you, so thank you so much for subscribing. Anyway, Carowinds, the massive Cedar Fair park, stretching across the border of North and South Carolina, is renowned for its incredible top 3, but what puts this park on the map is the incredible B&M Giga Coaster, Fury 325. I got 6 rides on this beast, and there is no doubt in my mind that this is truly one of the greatest roller coasters ever created. First, let's talk ride experience. This isn't technically part of the ride experience, but this dramatically impacts it. This is the dreadful, horrible, awful assigned seating policy. This actually almost ruins the ride. I was lucky enough to get a single front row ride, which purely because of this single ride is the reason this coaster cracks my top 3. Everything else was towards the middle, and I got a back row ride at night, which was great, but it pales in comparison to that front row ride. Anyway, this is a major problem, and if the operator at least accepted preferences, that would greatly improve this ride. Anyway, this is the tallest lift hill on Earth, and it definitely feels like it. This thing is just crazy tall, and the drop lasts forever. This is easily one of the best drops ever created. I was out of my seat the entire time. The ride flies through the course, and major props to B&M for including so many low-to-the-ground elements to properly showcase this ride's speed. One of the biggest pros of sitting in the front is the incredible sense of speed. In my eyes, speed is one of the greatest strengths of any coaster, and Fury does this better than almost any other coaster. Almost. The airtime hills towards the end offer fantastic sustained airtime. That being said, I just don't think this is the best Giga. Everything Fury does, Millennium Force seems to do a little bit better. Argue with me in the comments. Anyway, Fury is no doubt a world-class attraction, and alone makes the visit to Carowinds worth it. It's not alone though. Intimidator is an amazing B&M hypercoaster. I'm just in love with the B&M Hyper. I got so many rides on this thing, and the front row is definitely the best. Fantastic sustained airtime. I love the clamshell restraints, and this coaster is just a ton of fun. I wish so much they would have just one good hyper on the west coast. Like, can't Magic Mountain just call Morgan and give Viper the Phantom treatment, or call B&M to do something with Goliath? Just we are in dire need of a good hyper, and riding Intimidator made me realize how great these rides are. The last of the big 3 coasters at Carowinds is Copperhead Strike. I didn't really know what to expect with this thing. The launches were more forceful than everyone says for sure, and the JoJo roll out of the station is amazing. I'm not really a fan of these Mac lap bars at all that come down so hard during the ride. Otherwise, this ride was good, but not great. A lot of the elements seemed like they were too tight, and I was just yanked around, but not in a good way like with an RMC. I definitely think there are some better launch coasters at a lower price point that Carowinds could have installed instead. People talk about Afterburn, and keep in mind, I'm not a big fan of inverts in general, but I was not impressed with this thing in the slightest. The elements were so abrupt and just not comfortable. The corkscrew at the end was dreadful, and I just wanted this ride to end. Besides those 4 rides, it's pretty much impossible to find another notable attraction. I guess Vortex is notable because it's such a hot piece of garbage. I knew this thing was going to be bad, but wow, it was really bad. It was beyond uncomfortable in so many ways, and people, don't waste your time on this trash, ride Fury. Anyway, I didn't want to waste any more time, so I skipped the Boomerang and Hurler, which was running 1 train, and quite frankly, I didn't want to lose any more brain cells after Vortex. Final thoughts before I move on to the Six Flags comparison. Carowinds is a great park. The headlining coasters are fantastic, but I think a deeper supporting lineup is needed before this park can reach the elite class. The weather was blisteringly hot, and I actually had to take a break in the hotel around 3 because it was so bad, and I'm used to the heat. Obviously the park can't really help this, but I think just a little bit of shade would have gone a long way. The landscaping there is nice, but nothing compared to that of Busch Gardens and even King's Dominion. It kind of reminds me of a Six Flags park in that way. Not much greenery, especially by the area with Vortex and the Corkscrew. I genuinely thought I was at a Six Flags park. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I love many Six Flags parks, but that's not exactly something I would expect from a Premier Cedar Fair park. The lack of shade is especially noticeable on a hot day. The large collection of steel roller coasters, and especially with many of them being mediocre, at best, coupled with the uninspired theming and landscape, really gave this park a kind of Six Flagsy vibe. I don't want to be too harsh. Carowinds is an absolutely fantastic park, and I would highly recommend any enthusiast visit purely to experience Fury. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing. I'll see you all in the next video.